The federal government's plan to trial its healthy welfare card has hit a roadblock. One community in the Kimberley region has rejected the card, saying it won't achieve what the government wants it to.
David Pav is one resident who thinks the cashless card won't improve his situation. After working most of his life, he now receives the disability support pension.
I've got chronic lung disease, back's herniated, and it's full of arthritis. And basically, I've done heavy lifting work all my life, most of my life, and yeah, it's paid. I'm paying the toll now.
After losing his good health, he's now being forced to give up his financial freedom as well.
I'm mighty frustrated. I mean, I'm 51 years old. I haven't been told what to do for over 30 years, you know. I'm not a little child. You can look at my finances, you can see I'm responsible, you can go down to the police station and ask to see my police record and you'll find I haven't got one. So I'm not someone who's creating social problems or contributing to the social issues in town either, you know, like it's totally ridiculous.
This to me is going back to days. I can remember I used to live out where I was born, 37 k's from here, Coonamble Mission. I was 8, 9 years old watching my mother. This is what this basic card reminds me of, going from here, walking 50 yards up to this little building and getting the rations, your flour, sugar and tea leaf.
Locals had a blunt message for the Prime Minister. They say that cashless welfare impinges on their freedom and the technology often fails.
This card is not the way to go. What we need to be doing is looking at how we provide wraparound services and strong substance abuse services and address the long-term causes of disadvantage in these communities.
Limiting cash will not stop alcohol or substance abuse. People will find other ways to access alcohol. This treats everyone on income support as if they're abusing alcohol or substances and are incapable of managing their money.
I teach research methods. I've done evaluations. I understand about data. I've gotten stuff here from Seduna, and I know it's the same in Western Australia. They have introduced, at the same time as they introduced the cashless welfare card, they've introduced a range of services that deal with alcoholism, that deal with other sorts of problems, and in fact, you know, it's quite expensive and things. They are probably affecting the things. They are stopping people getting into hospital. They are stopping those things there because people need services. Stopping people's cash. There is no evidence from the data from the Basics card in the Northern Territory, which I've gone through in great detail, does not show that any of the areas that were covered by the Basics card have improvements in terms of alcoholism, in terms of school attendance, in terms of employment. All of the data that is actually about what's happening to people does not show that the Basics card has made any effect. The best thing that the University of New South Wales could find out was the fact that some people liked it, particularly those who were on it voluntarily. I do not have a problem if people volunteer for a card.
Yes, sure.
I do not have a problem if people have an alcohol problem and are put on the card as part of a case management. I do have a problem if everybody with a working age payment ends up on the card because a few people have problems with alcohol, which is fixed by services, not the card.
It's extremely ignorant to think that you can just apply one solution to so many different things.
If we introduce it here, it's not going to change what's happening because nobody's actually went and targeted the problems.
Like, we budget down to the very last cent to be able to afford what we need to afford. And we can't do that. We can't go to buy and sell pages. We can't go to eBay.
My wife went to pay Telstra bills, couldn't pay them. And it wasn't because there was no money on the card, it was because the system wasn't working.
Crime's already high right now, so if they just going to make more problems, the crime's going to still go up. It's going to go up more.
Australia's human rights watchdog says it will unfairly affect First Nations peoples.
I just question why in this country, every time there's a punitive measure, it always has to be trialled out on Aboriginal communities. They, at the end of the day, won't have any sustainable outcomes whatsoever.
The Joint Parliamentary Human Rights Committee raised a number of concerns: breaching of the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, issues around the lack of proper evaluation and monitoring, the fact that it's not voluntary, are all issues that have been raised in terms of human rights concerns.
People who for years have been on something like a disability support pension, manage their money, manage their lives, have everything organised, suddenly have to go and sort of not be able to pay things in the same way that they've always done it. I would have failed you if you'd have been one of my research students for bad
and Eva,
design.
I encourage you to go